Let's get it. It is Monday. Lawrence D. Adams and the Deacon class. Let's get it. If you're watching us, the one and only, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me know in the chat room. The Deacon class is ready to roll. Let's get it. Let's go. If you can hear me loud and clear in the chat room, let me know. Can you guys hear me in the chat room? Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, can you hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat room. All right, that's what I need to know. All right. Let's get it today. Woo! Good. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. The thinking class is ready to go. It's ready to go. Spiritual slap. Get it. Come on. It's Monday. Come on, get your coffee, get your smoothie, get your salad. Let's get ready to go. Lawrence D. Adams is here. Let's get it going. We're talking about the spiritual side of the game. Week 3. War games. You better get your pen and paper for this one. This might be a little deep right here, but we're going to talk about it. You may not like it, but it's the truth. We're going to talk about war games. And once you understand it, it's going to make a lot of sense. Shout out to the thinking class. Shout out to the thinking class. Let's go. We ain't done yet. Shout out to the thinking class. Shout out to the thinking class. Everybody here, let's go. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got 2 minutes to go. We're going to get ready to get going. Woo! All right, let's get it going. Check these cameras. Let's see what we got on. Salute everyone. Salute, 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 salute. What's going on, everyone? Let me lower my cameras, lower my... Salute everyone. Salute, salute. If you can see me, hear me, let's get it going. Let me drop this beat because this beat is so hot. So the past 3 weeks, we've been talking about the spiritual side of the game. So I'm going to get right to it. So the past 3 weeks, we've been talking about the spiritual side of the game, and we've been seeing things happening when we talked about the spiritual side of the game. We've seen people's reconnect with their fathers, and we've seen people reconnected with their children and things like that. If the spiritual side of the game has helped you realize that the spirit has been showing up on the spiritual side of the game. Let me say that again. The spirit has been showing up on the spiritual side of the game. The spirit has been showing up what? On the spiritual side of the game. So we're going to get right to it because it's like I'm delaying for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. So we're going to talk about the spiritual side of the game. So we're going to talk about the spiritual side of the game. We realize that there's multiple sides of the game. What's going on, Rain and Woman? What's going on? Dre, Joe Blast, Trav, Sigma, Dre, who else? Cerise. Who else is in here? We miss it. Coach Michael. What's going on? What's going on to everyone inside of it? Show some love to everyone. But let's get into it with the spiritual side of the game. The spiritual side of the game is so important. Let me say this. It's so powerful, man. What's been happening in the past 3 weeks has been amazing. What's going on, Ted? What's going on, Don? So we're going to talk about the spiritual side of the game. We're going to get right into it because I think everybody needs to get this. So we know when we talk about the spiritual, we're talking about game. We're talking about solutions and strategies. See, game solve solutions and strategies, whether interpersonal, whether whatever you're doing. And I think a lot of times we miss that when it comes to this space, the importance of game. Sometimes people think of game only in one way, and that's manipulation and only has to do with game, as far as with pimps and tricks and all like that. But I'm not talking about game like that. I'm talking about game in a sense of you being able to move and maneuver in whatever arena that you at. So that is game. So now that we got that clear, now that we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, you realize what's going on, Alfie. We realize that another part of the game is this. We can talk about physical game. We can talk about body game. We can talk about mouthpiece. We can talk about your game that you work on yourself, or we talk about that part of the game. But we never talk about the spiritual side of the game. And the spiritual side of the game, actually, you need all the other components to work the game. Need what? All the other components to work the game. So I want you to really get this, the importance of the spiritual side of the game. And as you've been seeing so far, that the spiritual side of the game actually takes you and give you insight further than maybe even other parts of the game. But you got to get the spiritual side of the game together. But this is the thinking class. So let me get that correct. Let me clear it up right now. We ain't going to be so spooky and, walking on clouds and things like that. And you ain't moving your. Let me say that again. We ain't going to be all spooky and seeing angels and all like that. If you ain't moving y'all already know what y'all want to say. If you ain't moving your. So don't get to, yes, the thinking class. Come on. If you ain't, don't talking about, if you ain't moving your what? You got to move your, see, most people get so spiritual that they're no earthly what? Good. Thank you. You move your glutes. You got to move those glutes. You got to move those cakes. Y'all got it. You ain't moving your cakes, moving your glues. You ain't moving that assets. So there you go. Don't talk about, oh, I'm so spiritual. Hey, brothers and sisters, move your move yours. You already know. Some people get so spiritual that they're no earthly good, and so they're good. Their heads are in the cloud, but they don't know how to function with regular people. So that's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, so that you're balanced in what we're talking about. So don't come on here talking on that. Oh, I seen a star jump out there. No, you got to move your. I'm just saying. Then some people are so earthly that they have no spiritual. They're so earthbound that they have no spiritual act, no kind of connection to the spiritual. So I'm talking to somebody, but you need to hear this. You so earthbound and this and that, but you know what? You're no spiritual good. So there must be a balance. That's why there's teaching on 3 weeks on the spiritual side of the game. What's going on, man? What's going on? Salute to the panel. What's going on? And I want everybody to get that. It got to be a balance. You can't be so spiritual that you know earthly good, and you can't be so earthly good that you ain't no spiritual good. There has to be a balance. That's why we're talking about the game of the spiritual side of the game. Now that I laid that foundation, let's go a little further. And I said war games. So we're going to talk about the spiritual war games. Now we're not talking about fighting demons and fighting angels and Michael, Archangel Michael coming in and cutting peoples. And no, we're not talking about that kind of game. When we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, and I'm talking about war games, I said in the phrase, or I said at the beginning, I said in the title, you have no enemies and you have no friends. You only have teachers. It's supposed to be the internal war. The internal war. So let's go a little bit deeper into what I'm about to say. You have no friends. You have no enemies. You only have teachers. And if you only have teachers, someone is trying to teach you something. But we're going to go a little bit deeper. The internal war. Let me get this again. Let's get this. The internal war. The internal war. So many times, y'all ready for this? The real fight that you have, men with a woman and the woman with the man, is the internal war that you're fighting with yourself. If you understand that there's a masculine and a feminine inside of you, polarities, that's what it's called, you realize that when you have a conflict with, say, in the context of what I'm saying, with the opposite sex, you're fighting, or with anyone, it's really the internal war that you have with someone else that is reflected in that person. But see, we don't want to deal with that because we want everything to be lovely and everybody just agreeing. No, it is your internal war that is being projected out on this space that we call Earth. Let me say that again. It is your internal war that you're fighting, and it's seen in the people around you. If this is making sense to you, let me know so I can move on to the next point. If this is making sense, let me know in the chat room. It's your internal war. So that's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, because if you can master the internal war inside of you, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? You're going to master not only you, but everyone around you. If you can master spiritual side of the game and the internal war that's going on inside of you, you will master everyone around you. This should be on the Patreon. I have the realization right now. Okay, good. Right. So what you're doing is and I'm going to say it, when men have problems, come on YouTube and complain about the women, there's an internal war going on. When women get on YouTube or whatever place and they have a problem with men, it's an internal war that they're having with themselves. And they have not resolved. And so what happens is they are now, every time that part of that, say the woman has an issue with that man, she automatically goes internally. And what happens? She steps on the landmine and boom, whatever he does triggers her. Got it. It's the internal war inside. Once you master that, it happens outside. Right. Let me say that again. Change your self-image and the reaction of the people around you. Right. So the internal. So every time a man sees a woman does something, it's the internal war that sends a signal. Let me go a little bit deeper too. It sends a signal and say, you know what? There's going to be a conflict, and the conflict never starts on the outside. The conflict starts always with you. So let's take it a little bit further. I'm going a little deeper now. Let me breathe on this one. When I say breathe. So it's your internal conversation about the war that's going on inside of you that's reflected on the outside of you. It is your internal conversation about the person, situation, or wherever it may be. You're talking about relationship wise, is now reflecting before you even say it on the outside. What are you saying on the inside of you about everything that's going on the outside of you? It's that internal war that's going on. So that's why you need the spiritual side of the game, so that you can say, wait, wake up. It's me. How do I adjust my spirit? How do I adjust my mental to affect my what? My surroundings. So there's an example, and this might be a little far-fetched for some of y'all to believe, but I'm gonna share the example. I actually have the book. There was a doctor, I think, in Hawaii. Now you guys are getting it. I mean, I'm all master of the internal wars. That's why it comes to us and outside. Thank you. Right. It's self-taught we have that the real war we're having. Correct. Now you guys are getting it. So there was a story. I want you to pay attention to the story. There's a doctor in Hawaii. I believe it's in Hawaii, regardless of where it was in the psych ward. And in this psych ward, no one wanted to work in that area. People were constantly late. Patients were doing all kind of crazy things. And every time you look at, somebody was quitting. So he was assigned to this particular psych ward. So the first thing he did was he evaluated everything around him. He evaluated what? Everything around him. When he evaluated everything around him, he took a notebook and said, this is interesting. People are quitting. People don't come to work on time. The patients are acting crazy. Something is wrong. So he went into his office and he didn't see a patient. Pay attention to the story. He didn't see a patient. He talked to the staff when he comes in and out, but he didn't see a patient. And the people around him were bewildered. Why are you here as a doctor and you're not seeing any patients or passing any meds? And so what happened was he began, pay attention to what I'm saying closely. He began to adjust how he's seen the situation that he was working in. He began to see the patients, the workers, the circumstances there, and he began to adjust himself. The more he worked on himself and how he's seen things and how he perceived things and what he believed about what was going on, and changed his belief about it, the outward began to what? Reflect what was inside. So what he did was he always tell himself, I love you and I forgive you. So if it was a person that was acting up, a patient, say a worker that was constantly late, you realize if the person is constantly late, there's some part of me that I need to adjust as late. So he began to take responsibility, not so much for that individual, but what the image of how he's seen that person. And he began to adjust it slowly. That person began to come to work on time. The next thing, when the patients were acting crazy, whatever the case may be, you were like, I send love to that person. I adjust that inside of me and I forgive them. And he did that and realized the image that he had of that person had to change. In any conversation he thought about that person, he only seen them in the best light. They begin to change. Within the amount of time, the whole psych ward began to change. Some of the people that were in the psych ward got released. People started coming to work. Things started to take place differently. And the doctor, what he did was only sat in his office and began to adjust who he was. You begin to what? Adjust who he was and how he perceived what was going on. That's the spiritual side of the game. And what he did was, I read the book and everything like that, but this goes into the fact is that you realize that we teach over here the gospel of responsibility. Anything that's showing up in your life, the internal war that may be going on, can be adjusted inwardly first. Many times you arguing with a person before they even show up. Let me say, I'm gonna read this. That's all facts. Even when I bump heads with someone or feel or at odds with someone, I come back to myself and self-check the actualization, right? So let me understand. So let me break it down to when it comes down to these YouTube streets. If you're having problems with women, and you already arguing and think women going to take you to the cleaners and that they're going to treat you wrong, they're going to do you in, they're going to do this, guess what's going to happen? You're going to attract women who are going to do what you perceive they're going to do. Women, if you constantly believe that men's a dog, they're gonna sleep with you, they're gonna cheat, they're gonna do this, guess what's gonna happen? You're going to attract, because the internal conversation and the war that you have is going to attract that to you. That's why I'm talking about the spiritual side of the game. If you can adjust your thermostat or adjust your guiding system inside and realize that it is you and not them, or is you and not them, you will have a better relationship with those around you. That's why I say, and I've said it many times, I don't have those problems that a lot of the guys talk about on YouTube about women doing this, people doing that and cheating. No, because you know why? That's not my story. Let's go a little further now. What story do you have playing internally? What internal story do you have about women, money, sex, men, and women? You thinking about men? What internal story is playing in the back? When I was younger, the biggest things they had was the reel-to-reels. So you put one reel here, and you take the tape and you put it around, and then it plays out what's on the reel-to-reels. So what internal story do you have inside of you that's being played out? That's what we're talking about, the spiritual side of the game. That's being played out in front of you. That's why I constantly say, I don't have to deal with those women like that. I don't complain, because see, when you complain, it actually draws it to you. I said something like, we create reality. We talk about self-talk. We talked through self-talk, correct. But this is another side of it. I said something yesterday. I was on Alfie's channel on the panel, and I said a word said a phrase or word, self-check. When you are self-checked and you know who you are as a man, the woman that comes in your life automatically begins to self-check herself. Why? Because of your own internal conversation. Women know what men they can run over and what men they bet not even think about running over. Why? It deals with how the man views himself. Let me slow that down because there's a lot right there. That's a lot right there. Women know, people know, we're going to talk about women because it's relatable because it's men here. What men they can say things to and what men they would not cross. Why? It's because of the internal conversation that the man has about himself that she knows if she dare cross him, she would get checked to the umpteenth degree. And women in the chat room, let me know if I'm telling the truth. It's called check. She begins to self-check herself. Say, no, I bet not do that to him. He gonna go off. That's right. Y'all let me know in the chat room. This is facts. Women, y'all know it. There's some men like, oh, no. He don't even have to say nothing. His presence, the way he carry himself is like, I bet not say that to him. Why? It is because of the internal conversation or the spiritual side of the game that he knows I will not play that and I would not tolerate that. And she automatically self-checks herself. Yeah, sometimes we create situations in our head and we are not there because we wrote a whole story in our head and with the perception and skew our perception and perspective. So I want you to really get that. I know I'm throwing, this is really heavy. I probably need to slow it down. I'm giving a lot. What time is it? Okay. And I want you to really get that. So the real issue here is a woman was same thing with there's certain women, men, that garners different levels of respect. Why? Because the way she carries herself, but it's deeper than that. It's her internal conversation that she reflects out to the world. I don't care. You're not going to just talk to Michelle Obama just any kind of way. Why? Because of the self-image and the conversation that she has with herself is going to reflect and you know what was going to happen. But let me go a little bit deeper in the spiritual side of the game, in the internal war. Some men, salute. Some men, and I'm saying this, and women, you choose people who are insecure and inferior to you so that you feel better about yourself. You pick someone who is insecure and who feels inferior so that you feel good about yourself. And the real issue is you. The internal war that you would even think to pick someone that's lower than you. Real fast, women know that men they play with by self-image he has with himself. Correct. Let me say that again. Some of you pick people to be relationship with because you know on some level they cuddle your insecurities. Because I say this, anytime, salute. Anytime man or woman is seeking to control in the relationship, guess what's happening? Secretly, they're fighting the internal war to control themselves. Let me say that again. Anytime somebody's constantly seeking to control what's on the outside of them, they're fighting themselves to control what's in them. That's a beautiful moment in ourselves we are having. Keeping going. Let me say this again. Anytime you're seeking to control that person, this person, that person, it's because in some way you're trying to control, you feel yourself out of control. I'm dropping too many gems today. I'm dropping too many gems today. Or women, you do it too. When you try to control the man, in some way, you're reason why you're doing that because your life is out of control somewhere. Man, you can't control the woman. It's because somewhere in your life you're out of control. And if you're trying to constantly control the situations around you, it's because internally you are at war and you're trying to control the internal part of you, the internal war that's inside of you. This is for someone. I don't know who this is for, but this is for someone today. Because you're fighting, you think outwardly, but the real war that you're really fighting is inwardly. It's not the man, it's not the woman, it's not the job, it's not the kids, it is you. It leads me to my next story. There was this woman who was married. This is the thinking class, right? This is the thinking class. Peace. Be still. This is the thinking class. All this is facts, guilty. Okay, all right. Yes, the person who has no control in their life is the one who's trying to control others. Come on. Let me tell you this story. I want you to get this story real clear. Pay attention to the story that I'm about to share. There was this woman who had a husband. She was in church all the time. She prayed. She was in church, but her husband, not so much. But he had a drinking problem. He liked to drink. Libations. He loved to drink. Pay attention to the story I'm saying. He loved to drink, but she liked going to church. So what she would do is, she realized that his drinking was affecting the family. Pay attention to this story I'm about to tell you. Come closer. And she didn't know what to do. So she prayed to God. God, what do I do? This man you gave me, he keep drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, drinking and drinking, drinking and drinking and drinking. So they went to church. They told her, put some oil in the shoes. Put some, prayer oil on the shoes. That didn't help. So she believed that she put the prayer oil in the shoes, he would go off and stop drinking. That didn't work. Then she put some oil on his pillow. So when he sleeps, she thought he'll wake up, he'll get the revelation, stop drinking. That didn't work. Then she would try to coerce him. Come on to church. Come on. You need to come to church. You need to come to church now. You need to come to church. Come to church right now. You better come to church. You need to come to church. But that didn't work. He still would drink. And it seemed like it got worse. So finally she got to the point she was crying out to God. God, man, why you give me this husband he keep drinking and keep doing all these things. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. He keep acting up. Oh my God, what is wrong? I didn't pray. I went to every Bible verse. I put oil on everything. When he touched something, it's dripping with oil. But she got quiet. And she heard something. God said, the issue is not your husband drinking. The issue is not your husband's drinking. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Y'all want to know the rest of the story? Let me know. Let me know in the chat room. I want you to put it 2 in the chat room. Y'all want the rest? Put it 2 in the chat room if you want the rest of the story. Put it 2 in the chat room if you want the rest of the story. What did God say to her? Remember, We're talking about the internal war. Let me know in the chat room you want the rest of the story. Put a 2 in the chat room if you want the rest of the story. What did God say to her? Because clearly it was the man that was drinking all the time. He's a drunk. I need one more person to put a 2 in the chat room. There we go. You get all the 2s there. There we go. Got 2s. So when she finished praying, she was crying and wanting to beat up God because her husband would stop drinking. God finally said, "It is you. You are the problem." And she's like, "How am you know?" The next starts running. "What do you mean, God? I'm the problem. He the one drinking. I'm the one going to church every Sunday and giving and doing all I need to do." Her head starts swerving. You know how head starts swerving. God said, "It is you." So she thought about it. And he said, "Why?" Then she finally got quiet. She said, "Why are you saying it's me?" It's because, and God finally revealed, and I want you to get this the internal war I'm talking about. It is your perception of your husband that is holding what? That you're holding him hostage to being a drunk. It is your perception of your husband. Even though you did all these things that you said you want the solution, it is your perception of him that's keeping them drinking. It is what? It is your perception of your husband. That is why he keeps drinking. So she said, whoa. It ain't me. Hold up, God. I know you. I go to church. You know, I'm on the usher board. Said, it is you and your perception of your husband and being a drunk. And until you change your image or how you see your husband, he will never change. This is the internal war I'm talking about, the spiritual side of the game. So finally, she said the first thing she needed to do, pay attention. She had to forgive herself for looking at her husband as a drunk. She had to forgive herself, what? For seeing her husband as a drunk. And the moment she began to forgive herself for seeing him as a drunk and begin to change the image of how she's seen her husband, not like a husband, but as a faithful man, a man that's dedicated, a man that's sober. Guess what happened? He all of a sudden began to what? Change and say, you know what? For some reason, I just do not feel like drinking anymore. How about I come to the church and see what's going on? So I'm not saying that story for you to go to church and this is going to happen. I want you to see the internal war that she was keeping in place because of her image that she had of her husband of being a drunk and not seeing him as who he should be. Get the story. She used her eyes to see him as a drunk, and that's why he never changed. Thank you. Now, how does this apply? Well, how does this apply to when you are dating relationship is when if you're constantly seeing women as they're for the streets. I'm talking to someone. That system really helps and help her through former influence his play. Right. If you constantly seeing women, they for the streets, they ain't nothing but hoes. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. If you constantly see women as that, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be some hoes that show up in your life. Let me say that again. If you constantly seeing women, there's some hoes in this house. You constantly see them as hoes in this house. Guess who's going to show up? All the hoes are going to show up in your house or in your life. If you constantly see men, they ain't nothing but cheaters, ain't nothing but dogs. That's all they want to do is have sex all the time. Guess who's going to show up? 313-213. I got hoes. I got hoes. And different area codes. What? That's who's going to show up in your life because of your internal conversation. And even though you say with your mouth, I want a good man, guess what's going to happen? Your internal conversation is going to say what? I want something different. You should not accept people's view of you in a negative way either, right? Let me get down. There are negative, heavy things that we have to move on from. Correct. I want you to get this. If you constantly thinking, yeah, there's some holes in this out, there's some holes in. Now, if you want that, you shouldn't complain. But you say you want a good woman, your perception of women internally must change. Y'all don't want this. Your perception of people will create the reality of what you see. We are ultimately in control of what shows up in our life. Thank you, Dre. You are the thinking class. So if you think that you want some holes in this house, the holes gonna show up. There's some hole in it. And you constantly think men ain't no good. These men all the odd players. Guess what's gonna show up? The player's gonna show up in your life like, get over here. That's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, because we want you to adjust your perception first of yourself and the people around you. And if you're in conflict with somebody, you need to think, it just may be me that's having the issue right here. You keep whoa, Damon, what you say, man? You keep singing holes in this house, but wonder why you can't find wifey. If you keep singing, there's some holes in the beat. I love the beat. There's some, it's an old actually song from the 90s, I believe. They didn't remix. But if you keep singing, there's some holes in this house, and the girls ain't loyal, and she for the streets. Guess what, Chris Brown, whatever the case may be. Guess what's gonna happen? She gonna show up. If you keep entertaining the IG model who's showing her booty on IG, guess what's gonna show up? Booty everywhere. I'm being funny, but I want you to get what I'm saying. She cheats and goes behind your back because you spoke it and sang it into existence. I'm not saying not to enjoy music. I'm not saying not to go have fun, because I love to have fun. That's why I'm singing the song. You see, I know them. But when you begin to internalize that and make that your mantra, and you begin to make that your conversation inside, guess what's going on? Show up. Bam. Oh, I know it's true. I'm talking to somebody. The beat, that's why it makes you so darn effective, right? That beat, cold. In fact, I mean, you have to change the song you sing to yourself. That's good. Shift what? Perceptions. Y'all getting it now. That's what I'm talking. Thinking class. Those record companies know that they are very sinister. Ever since they took over the record company in the 90s, it broke down a lot of families. Right? Come on, for real. What's going on? For real. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, bro? So you got to realize, what are you singing? And believe me, I'm telling you how it really is. If you can understand that. You got to understand, even the pimp, he has what does a pimp draw to him? He draws prostitutes who want to sell their body, or who are thinking about selling their body, or who want to know about selling their body so he can break off and get that money. This is the thinking what class? The powerful mattress is real. Come on. That thinking beat. So I want you to get that. So the internal war. So even though you say it with your mouth, but everybody, yeah, man, you know. And then this is the other. Let me flip the other side. Some men, because I'm talking to the men now, I'm talking to the brothers. I want a good woman. But secretly you want some hoes. You are in conflict inside. Let me say that again. You tell everybody, yeah, I want a good woman, man. I want somebody that's down for me, man, and they can treat me right. But secretly, in your secret closet, you want them hoes. or I'm talking to somebody. You better, the biggest thing, if you're part of the thinking class, you're thinking like, oh, let me adjust myself. Secretly, you want that. What? You telling everybody if I could just find a good woman, man, none of these women ain't right. It's because you're in conflict for what you saying and what you really want. If you want those hoes, you need to be honest and say, hey, I want some hoes. The way your house is set up really shows how you are, especially if you listen to it on a daily basis, right? But I want you to get that. Stop lying. Stop fronting. Scheming hard. Got a great big bodyguard. So step up if you want to. Please understand. Stop lying. If you really want women like that, be honest. Say, hey, I want a woman like that. If you want some hoes, be honest about it. I ain't saying condoning it, but I'm saying is be honest with yourself. So try to pretend, try to front in front of everybody else, brother. And you know what you really want. The moment you realize you're man enough and say, this is what I want, you'll get what you want. Stop being in conflict and pretending and trying to fit in with the crew where you really know what you really want. You at that internal war going on. That internal war is going on. You know why? Because you ain't being honest about what you really want. That's the truth. Same with you women. Oh, I just want a good man who treat me right. He love me, send me flowers every week, and he does that. Oh, I'm coming down your lane, ladies. But secretly, you just want a man just to knock it off. Please be honest with yourself. Stop fronting. Stop telling your girlfriend, I just want a man that's going to be good and who's going to be like this person. He's just muscular. And secretly, you know, all you want to do is roll around in the sack. Come on, y'all need to be honest. But remember that you are a lot of people that say they want a wife or a husband, but subconsciously they want a dog or a hoe. Come on. That's it. Be honest. What you're doing is you're trying to save face because you don't want to face your real desires. Dun, dun. Some are aware of what their heart desires. Another level and lots of work needs to be done. Right. That's it, damn. You hitting it, brother. Thinking class is in motion. Stop playing. Stop telling your girlfriend, girl, you know, I just want a good man and he can treat me right. And secretly, all you want to do is go to another country, go on a girls' trip, and you slip into some. Music stop. Where the music at? I might be on somebody's tail. Say that again. You just happen to slip into some. It's because it was in you. It ain't just happened. You've been thinking about it. So you created a scenario where it's okay that you don't feel guilty about what you're doing. When you know it was on the girls' trip. And he was just sitting there. You wanted to do it anyway. You just found a justifiable reason to do it. It was an internal thought desire. And what happens is you found the scenario that opened the door for it to happen. I know y'all don't want to hear this. I know this is kind of rough. What time is it? I know I'm going in. There we can start talking about unbalanced chakras, right? So you just found it. You said, well, I'm going to, everybody know what you already know when you go on the girls' trip, ladies, what you really want to do. You can kiki and ha-ha all you want, but the reality of it is you want the Chico stick. But since it's not near your house, don't make you feel guilty because you know what? It was on the girls' trip. Maybe I need to stop saying this. Keeping it real, cause when the secrets, what is secretly mentally closet is what you're really creating. Come on. Same with you guys going to trips. You know what you want. Oh man, we just going to hang out, bro. End up at the strip club. I ain't saying nothing wrong with the strip club. Go to the strip club all you want. But don't play yourself and just be honest. The moment you can, just listen. The moment you can be honest about what you want and what you desire, it no longer has control of you. The problem is we have wants and desires, say what I'm talking about. that goes unchecked and secretly is dragging you around internally. Is what? Dragging you around internally. We just need to make everyone aware of. A lot of us aren't educated in this area, right? Let me say that again. When the wants or desire goes unchecked, what happens is it's like the Incredible Hulk. One thing that triggered, it takes one thing to make the Incredible Hulk angry, and it flares up, and because it's unchecked. There's too much game today. I should have just kept quiet. Should have just kept quiet on this one. If this is resonating with you, this is making sense, you need to go back and listen to what I'm saying, because I'm talking about the internal war. Oh, I'm talking about the internal war that's inside. Let me know in the chat room if you got what I'm talking about today. What is it? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Be honest. Stop the conflict inwardly so it don't show up outwardly. Crucial. I love that, Ted. The internal world is the true war. If this is making sense to you, you understand. Whoa. Now this makes sense. Now I'm getting it. Now I understand. This was fire. My daughter's listening with me. Shout out to your daughter. Constantly getting dudes that are doing this, doing that. Hey, it's you. This is making sense. You let me know in the chat room that, hey, I just, yeah. I ain't want to hear this on a Monday. Can you ease up, LDA? Beautiful message, right? I want you to get that. Yo, people manifest exactly that. They manifest that hot mess. Woo! Come on, Sigmund. You already know. That's real, Damon. Okay, y'all getting it now. Fire. Wow. More brothers need to listen to you, LDA, OG. Appreciate it, bro. Hey, LDA. Could it be that the environment that the person is in it can be what they want and attract, but they don't want the people? Yes, that's very true. Once you understand this whole thing, you realize everything in your life is a thought that you created. But it takes a lot of guts to say, you know what? I created this. That's why we talk about the gospel of responsibility. No, you threw a power punch today. Fire game. I want you to get this game. The internal war, the spiritual side of the game. Most of us don't want to admit that the internal war, because it makes us look in the mirror and shatter our false, perfect self-image. We can go right there. Our what? Our false self-image. Oh, let me since you said that, let me say that because I got to go on this one. Because this is a good one. This is a good one right here. What is this phone? I gotta say this. When you said that, yes, I appreciate this here. Let me say this one right here. Y'all gotta get this one. You gotta get this one. Don't be talking about you posting pictures online and you wonder why you keep attracting these type of men and women. It is because your internal conversation is speaking louder than your picture. Let me say that again. Don't be talking about you. Why these being in my DM? All I did was post a picture, and you might be fully clothed from your neck down. But your internal conversation is, I want the Chico stick. Same for you men. You want the particular woman, but you keep attracting that one. What is your internal conversation? Ooh, I know I had to hit you with the power punch on that one. I ain't saying everybody got to be perfect, but don't be mad when you look in your DM and this happened and you getting this and this and that. It's because you are talking. You're talking louder than what you're saying with your mouth. You are speaking louder than your words. So guess what you were attracting? All them Negroes in your DM saying, what's up, girl? How you doing? Where can I get your number? What you doing at? People saying on their bios the opposite of what they really want attracting. Hey, you gotta go on that one. That's too much for somebody else. This is the internal war that you must resolve inside of you. Stop the civil war that's inside of you. It's inside of you. You need to go back and listen to everything I said today. It's so much heavy game. It will, how can I say it? It would unearth and adjust you. Listen to the stories that I shared. Go back and listen to this. Where I'm at now. You got 1 minute. Go back and listen to what I'm saying. You will realize that guess what? The outer vibration tips real high on all of a sudden. Check inside, right? That's why, and I gotta end with this. That's why a real pimp can recognize a real hoe or a potential hoe. Hey, that's why a real pimp can recognize a real hoe. Why? She's speaking louder than what she's saying with her mouth. So a lot of times people try to teach you the outward game, but they haven't got the conversation on the inside right to even recognize that you are the real man. See, if you got to constantly announce that you are the man, I need you to submit. You better listen to what I need to say. You ain't the man. If you constantly got to announce, I'm the man, I'm running this, I'm doing all of this, you better listen to me, you better submit. You ain't the man. And woman, I'm independent, I don't need nobody. You need somebody. Hey, let me say that again. If you got to constantly announce that you are the man, I'm running this, I'm doing this, I'm who I am, you better recognize, you better submit. You ain't the man. If you got the constant woman, you got to say, I'm the woman. You better recognize I'm independent and I'm strong and I'm doing all this. You ain't. Woo! Hey. I got it in and out. It's your truth, Trey. But there is a breakthrough in the self-check. The breakthrough is breaking the mirror. Y'all better catch that. If you got to constantly say that you the man around these, I'm the man around this place. You better recognize, woman. You better check yourself. If I need to tell you one more time, you better get yourself in line. You ain't the man. This speaks a whole new level of connecting with within the inner conversation situation, something serious. If you got a constant woman, I'm strong and I'm independent. You ain't gonna tell me nothing. I'm running. You ain't that strong. You ain't that independent. And the reality of it is, you're scared. Hey, I gotta go. Hey, get the lights up. Subscribe. LDA. Got the vibe. Get the lights up. Subscribe. LDA. Got that spirit of vibe. Hey, get the lights up. Subscribe. LDA. Got that spirit of vibe. Hey, 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 hey. Watch. If a woman is constantly saying that, watch. I guarantee ain't no dude around. If a man constantly got to announce to the woman that he the man, you better submit, you better get together. Your life gets you confidence. his silence, insecurity, and loud. Salute the pimp guy. Come on. I don't need to come in here and tell you who I am. If I was to take the covers back and reveal who I really was, I don't need to do that. It speaks from itself. It exudes from who I am. John was on here to reveal who. Guess what? Because it speaks for himself. And it ain't even hiding. But I got to say that for somebody in the back of the room. If you constantly got to say that you are the man, you better submit. You better get yourself in check. If you don't get right, I'm going to get you right. These women better recognize who I am. You ain't the man. If you got to constantly say, I'm independent, ain't no man going to tell me what to do. I'm running this. I can do it with you, without you. You need a man. Uh-oh. Did I step on your toes? Did I do that? I gotta go. Because y'all got me in the flow. I gotta go. I got to go. LDA is stepping on toes. Saying it, felt it, shell it again. Shell now. A woman knows when she's dealing with a real man. He can say very little, but his presence knows, whoa, just a real man. A man knows when he's dealing with a real woman. She don't need to announce how independent, strong she is and all like that, because you know why? She's a real woman of elegance and grace and regal. Y'all better start feeding all this stuff y'all been hearing. This is Lawrence D. Adams. Catch tomorrow. We don't. Hey, you don't. If you like this, leave a comment. Leave a comment after the stream. Let me know. Oh, this resonated with me. Hit me on Instagram. Hit me on Facebook. Let me know. Like, yo, LDA. Lawrence D. Adams. That was fire. Because I need to go. This happened with a guy I knew last week. Monday, I was listening to Thinking Class around him, and he said, "I'm a king, bro." You said, "I'm a king, bro. You are a king. You're a king." I actually knew he was insecure and made me check myself because of his own internal conversation. What he felt inadequate as being a king. I don't even need to say that I'm a king. What? Have a great day. Hope you guys have a good one in Thinking Class. Because you know why? I walk like I own. I'm going to tell you something. I got to end on this. I got to end. When my sons were younger, we would walk through the mall. And I said, I want you to walk through the mall like you own this mall in every store. It's like, huh, Daddy? Walk through the mall like you own this freaking mall. Not just the store, but the mall. When you walk like that and you talk like that, you have a mentality. People begin to treat you differently. Hence the book, The Secret Invisible Crown. Let me say that again. I told my sons what? Walk like you own a mall. Walk like you own this mall. Like you own every store that you paid in full. Guess what? People will treat you how you treat yourself. Recognizing my crown. Come on. The internal war. We out of here. Hey, get you. Hey. See you tomorrow. Come in 12:30 tomorrow. We're going to start fresh on time. Let's get it going. LDA, and I'm out. Hey, get that. Hey. We got to end on our original song. Let's get our good song, guys. Let's get our good song. Let's get our song. Y'all need to hear this when y'all go. Y'all got to feel this. Y'all got to feel this. Y'all ready for this? Let's get it. Come on, get it. LDA. Lawrence D. Adams. Let's go. Take over. Recognize. I vibe with my tribe. Subscribe, because you're vibing with this tribe. Let's go. LDA, Lawrence D. Adams. didn't know, now you know. Let's go. Take over. Taking over these YouTube streets. You're already there. Changing lives. The thinking class. The thinking class where you gotta boost your. The thinking class where you gotta boost your. Woo! That thinking class where you got to move your. Hit it. The thinking class where you gotta move your. Gotta move your. Peace, and we out.